Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking. If it means a lot to you guys. Keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today, I'm gonna really go over this tribal, the tribe that went to tribal, and really, again, this video is more for the strategy. Obviously, my recap was more focused on all the medevacs and the crazy stuff and the characters and the editing. This is about pure strategy. I mean, these like Friday/Saturday videos for me are usually going to be going over the person who went home, why they went home. And all of that type of stuff. So today we're talking about Maddy and where she went wrong. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really does help the channel out. Okay, so I guess the best place to start is where the strategy starts, which is when Brandon finds the idol. So I think what's key here is that Brandon's looking with somebody else. Why are you looking with somebody else? I know that the tribe split up into two groups, and that's like how we do it, and we all like hunt in groups. Don't actually look while you're in the group, or at least if you're going to do a much better job at hiding it. To me, like, the fact that he's even looking in a group is already flawed. Why are you looking for an advantage that you don't want to find in a group that's going to see it? Of course, he doesn't know it's an idol, but I have to assume that if there's something that extravagant in the middle of camp, it's probably an idol, or at the very least, some new crazy twist. So I would take it very seriously. It's not a tribe advantage. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So I don't know, whatever. But I think that is his first mistake. And I saw people saying, well, he's MVP, but also some saying that he's LVP because he played horribly because he got himself into the spot. And I think a big part of that is the fact that he does find the idol in this way. Okay, so let's flash forward to when he finds the idol. He thinks that Maddy saw him. Now the question is, should he go off of, hey, Maddy might have saw me, and then she would tell the whole tribe and then I'd be screwed? Or does he just risk it? I think he shouldn't have told Maddy in the first place, but I think if he's going to tell Maddy, that he does have to tell the whole tribe. Is once you tell the tribe, you have to say, I'm playing it, I'm playing it, I'm playing it. It should not get to a point where anyone feels comfortable targeting you with no split vote, which is what happens to him in this episode. The fact that Maddy and Lauren had the balls to even do that shows that he did not make it clear enough that he's playing it. You have to bluff. And for me, I think that is a huge mistake of his, is not bluffing. He needs to bluff here and say, I'm playing the idol. And he doesn't, and that's why he gets votes and almost goes home here. All right, now let's shift to Lauren, who kind of almost screws herself over here, but I think it really is not her fault. Let me tell you why. So basically, I think Lauren here makes up a perfect lie because the advantage is just an extra vote with a little bit extra steps. So she just has to give away her vote for one tribal, or essentially lose it, and then she gets the extra vote. A perfect cover up for this is, I'm going to lose my vote for the next tribal. What she should have probably said, again, in hindsight, is that I'm going to lose my vote for a tribal in the pre-merge, and I can choose when. That's a more believable one, and it matches up with the advantage. But of course, I think her lie was just fine. I think, again, the big issue is, of course, you just can't control by happenstance, Matt and Claire talking at the challenge. There's not really much that she could have done about that, so I'm not really, judging her for that. And so now it comes back on her. I think she does a good job here of going back at Brandon as aggressively. If she was more passive, maybe they would have just said, well, easy vote, it's Claire, she lied. But she got with Maddy, someone who already wants Brandon out, and says, I'm with you. It's very smart on her part. And again, she kind of makes it a Maddy versus Brandon thing instead of a like, oh, is it me or anybody else? Now let's talk about just the pure numbers. So of course we have Brandon, Gathew, and Kane, kind of the guys versus the girls here. Jamie is never really spoken for in this episode. I think that is a flaw of the editors, unless there's some ridiculous reason why. I think we should have seen at least Jamie talk about who she would have voted for, or who she was at least leaning towards. Essentially, what ends up happening is Brandon thinks that he has Gathew and also Kane, but more importantly, Gathew, to vote on his side against what is probably going to be a Molly vote. But focusing more on Brandon, I'm curious what he thought about getting a fourth vote. I mean, we never see them go to Jamie, and if we did, it was super brief and not very aggressive for a swing vote, because 3 is not enough. Of course, I'm sure that they assume that it's not going to be 3-3 and then a rock draw, someone will flip, but it's very simple. You cannot plan for a 3-person majority on a 6-person tribe, because that's not a majority, that's a plurality. So I think that was a big mistake by Brandon, and I think that's why he partly had to play his idol. If he tries to, let's say, flip over Jamie and she actually votes, then it doesn't matter, because now it's 2 to 2. And if Gathew doesn't vote, and then if Lauren doesn't vote, then it's just 2-2, and then we re-vote, and it's all good. But that's not what happens. Of course, we do see the girls kind of mount a counterattack on Brandon, and it does work. I mean, they have the numbers here, and they end up flipping over Kane, who we see votes for Brandon at Tribal. That is going to be tough for him to talk his way out of, since Brandon's still there. And I think they flipped over Matthew. Again, very smart by Matthew, because I feel like what he did here is genius, and it's probably going to become the meta in the new era. Just don't vote at the first tribal if you don't think you're going home, because then you won't pick sides. And now Gathew can flip it back over to Brandon without ever saying that he voted for him to go. It's genius. Or if he wanted to, he could just stay with the girls. He has choices now. Kane is stuck in a corner because he votes for Brandon here, and it's public and everybody knows, whereas in Gathew has kind of opened up his options more. Jamie, not so much. Again, she does the same thing, except the difference is she's not on anyone's alliance, so she could have flipped either way and it wouldn't have really done much. Whereas then I think Matthew needed to not vote here because now it gives him choices. Jamie never really had choices in the first place, and she's clearly just going to be a GOAT for this season. As far as Brennan's actual idol play goes, I think it's a really, really good sniff out. I do think it's kind of pre-choreographed, just because of course you're gonna play it. I think if you find the idol publicly in the first episode, it's just smart to get rid of it either at the first tribal or the second tribal, definitely before the merge, because if the entire tribe knows that you have this idol, especially in the first episode, there's no way but by the merge that they're not going to tell people from different tribes, and you're going to be a huge target. I think having a public idol pre-merge kind of just dooms you from the start. Obviously, I think Brandon kind of went wrong here, just how he found it. But I think overall, he played well. I mean, he played it correctly, and he did not go home, which I can't really say the same for Maddy. I think Maddy, again, just in the tough spot here. I think her only mistake is just not making it as obvious, and trying to maybe split the votes would have helped that. But it's so tough with people not voting and all of these twists and advantages. It's a real tough spot. As far as the future goes, I think it's all really up to Gathew. I mean, obviously Jamie's also in the middle, but I feel like now Gathew, as well as maybe even Lauren, may really decide the future of this tribe. Is Kane the next target, or is it Brandon? I don't think Jamie is in trouble, and I don't think that Gathew's in trouble. Lauren also, I think, has a pretty long-term edit, so I think she's safe as well. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens without you guys. I'm just a weird guy speaking into a weird microphone. That's how I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.